Part 61. The Best Physiognomist. Author, Yan Yun Yuqi. Chapter 601. In Wuifeng Manor. After reaching out to take the phone from Huang Yiwen, Zhang Fengjai put it to his ear and prepared to reject Yang Qiaoshan's second request, when the other party's explanation came from the phone. Friend Zhang, the families of many big figures who died in Wuifeng Manor did not understand and knew the existence of the Supernatural Research Institute. Therefore, Captain Zhuang's personal appearance can only calm the officialdom of Ningji City and Dongshan Province, but cannot eliminate the unrest in the business world. This requires the supernatural phenomena you create to make those people believe in the existence of demons and ghosts. However, if you do not appear in the supernatural phenomena created, Director Wang and I can neither prove to the families of those powerful people that the culprit who killed the powerful people has been killed by you, nor can we resolve the resentment and revenge of the families of the powerful people. After hearing Yang Qiaoshan's detailed explanation, Zhang Fengjai frowned slightly and thought deeply for a while, and then made a compromise suggestion. Director Yang, I can appear in the supernatural phenomena I create, but I need to hide my appearance. Because I don't want to ruin my quiet life to take care of the feelings of those powerful families. No problem. After hearing Zhang Fengjai's compromise suggestion, Yang Guozheng readily agreed and proposed the time and place to create supernatural phenomena. Friend Zhang, can you choose to create supernatural phenomena around Wuifeng Manor between 11:30 and 12 o'clock tomorrow afternoon? Yes. After agreeing to Yang Qiaoshan's request, Zhang Fengjai thought about it for a while, and then gave the time and place to prepare. Director Yang, at 12 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, I will perform Taoist magic to create supernatural phenomena in the tributaries of the canal. After hanging up the phone and returning the phone to Huang Yiwen, Zhang Fengjai turned around and prepared to leave Wuifeng Manor. But at this time, Qiao Tanya suddenly spoke up to keep him. Mr. Zhang, please wait a moment. When Zhang Fengjai turned around, Qiao Tanya asked with expectation in her eyes. Mr. Zhang, what about the concert next month? What concert? With the cooperation of the leaders of the Municipal Bureau and Zhang Fengjai, it is enough to eliminate the impact of the death of the dignitaries in Wuifeng Manor. This also makes Huang Yiwen no longer worry and immediately shift her attention to the big star Qiao Tanya. After all, Qiao Tanya, who has a peerless appearance and is developing in the three fields of film, television, and music, is an idol-level star that is popular with men, women, old and young, and is also one of the few superstars that she can admire. Otherwise, the mobile phone ringtone would not use Qiao Tanya's songs. So, when she heard Qiao Tanya mention the concert, she immediately became interested and asked. After briefly introducing Zhang Fengjai's jade flute playing level and the request to invite him to cooperate with the concert, Qiao Tanya continued to look at Zhang Fengjai with expectation. Mr. Zhang, Qiao Tanya is the most popular and influential superstar in the three fields of film, television, and music in recent years, and she also has the title of the successor to the Queen of the Music World. After hearing Qiao Tanya's explanation, Huang Yiwen immediately persuaded Zhang Fengjai excitedly. Countless top bands want to be the exclusive bands for her concerts, and many stars and superstars want to be the guests of her concerts. It is your honor that Goddess Qiao can take the initiative to invite you to her concert. What's more, being able to perform on stage with Qiao Tanya, a peerless beauty who was once called a rare beauty in the island country, is a blessing that countless men dream of. How can you refuse? Of course, the reason why Huang Yiwen took the trouble to persuade her was because of her own selfish motives. Qiao Tanya was able to become the most popular international star in Asia in just 3 years. In addition to the power of her company, it is also directly related to her unique voice and superb vocal range. The 3 albums in the 3 years since her debut have broken the record sales record in Asia. The 9 songs in each album are all excellent products and good medicine for treating heart disease. Huang Yiwen, who had suffered emotional hurt, had a wish in her heart, that is, She hoped to have the opportunity to listen to Xiao Tanya's concert, listen to her heavenly voice live, and completely forget the previous relationship through her singing. However, as the successor of the Queen of the Music World, Xiao Tanya's concert tickets are not only priced very high, but also the difficulty of grabbing tickets is no less than the Spring Festival travel rush, and tickets can only be bought through those scalpers. But the scalpers, who have lost their humanity, have long hyped up the price of tickets to a sky-high price. Even the price of the tickets with the worst seats has exceeded 10,000 yuan, which is obviously an unbearable price for a small policeman with a monthly salary of only 3,000 or 4,000 yuan. Therefore, she hopes that Zhang Fengjie can accept Xiao Tanya's invitation, and then she will directly enter the concert as an assistant. In this way, she does not have to spend money to buy tickets, and can appreciate the heavenly voice up close. Yiwen, is there anyone in the world whose invitation can be called an honor for me? Zhang Fengjie. The honor mentioned in Huang Yiwen's persuasion made Zhang Fengjie's eyes flash with a trace of dissatisfaction and question. I'm sorry, it was a slip of the tongue, Zhang Fengjie asked with dissatisfaction, making Huang Yiwen realize her mistake immediately. She bowed her head and admitted her mistake. Mr. Zhang, I can offer a 1 million appearance fee. Since beauty and fame cannot impress the other party, then the only way is money, so Xiao Tanya directly offered a price that she thought was very high. Miss Xiao, do you think I, Zhang Fengjie, am short of money? Pointing to the specially customized casual clothes on his body, Zhang Fengjie asked back with dissatisfaction. Mr. Zhang, Sister Litsi seems to be Xiao Tanya's most loyal fan. Huang Yiwen, who had long known that money could not impress the other party, suddenly thought of Zhang Fengjie's publicly acknowledged girlfriend Sulitsi, and hurriedly reminded her. Huang Yiwen's reminder made Zhang Fengjie's eyes flash with a hint of desire. Since being promoted to Deputy General Manager and General Manager of Yongsheng Group, Sulitsi has never had a good rest. If you listen to a concert live to relieve tension, it is also a rare opportunity to relax. Huang Yiwen mentioned the name, and the flash of desire in Zhang Fengjie's eyes made Xiao Tanya realize that the woman named Sulitsi must be Zhang Fengjie's girlfriend, and a trace of loneliness flashed in her eyes. But thinking of her peerless appearance and devilish figure, her superstar status and unworldly temperament, the pride that emerged in her heart made her make a very bold decision. Mr. Zhang, if you accept the invitation, then in the concert next month, I will only use the jade flute you played alone for the background music of the song 9 Songs Falling Emperor. 6 VIP tickets and a solo of the jade flute. Huang Yiwen and Xiao Tanya's proposal made Zhang Fengjie finally decide to accept the invitation, but he also put forward his own requirements. No problem. Although the concert was organized by the sponsor, a part of the VIP tickets would be reserved in advance and given to some very important people. As the protagonist of the concert, she could get 30 free ordinary tickets and 10 free VIP tickets. So, facing the request made by Zhang Fengjie, Xiao Tanya nodded and agreed. The Best Physiognomist. Author, Yan Yun Yuqi. Chapter 602. Because Huang Yiwen had to stay in Wuifeng Manor to wait for her colleagues and deal with the affairs of the deceased dignitaries together. Therefore, Zhang Fengjie left his phone number with Xiao Tanya to facilitate the discussion of the concert, and promised to give Huang Yiwen a VIP ticket for the concert. Then he directly used the Qingfeng step to prepare to leave Wuifeng Manor, and then returned to the Shen family villa to read the Yinlong memory. But at this moment, a very faint shout suddenly came from the north side of the manor area, which only he could hear. The night could not affect the sight, so Zhang Fengjie clearly saw the top beauty standing in front of the windowsill of the bedroom on the second floor of manor number 13, desperately shouting for help. Alas! Watching the top beauty use her teeth to bite open the window handle, causing the corner of her mouth to bleed. Watching the top beauty use her head to push open the tightly closed window, causing the forehead to be injured and swollen. Seeing the pleading look in the eyes of the top beauty and her constant shouting, Zhang Fengjai couldn't help but sighed softly, and finally softened his heart and ordered Huang Yiwen. Yiwen, go to the second-floor bedroom of manor number 13 immediately to rescue Lin Qilan, who was kidnapped by the owner of the manor. Mr. Zhang, is it the granddaughter of Lin Dayuan, chairman of Nyuan Group, and Lin Qilan, CEO of Qilan Advertising Group? When Huang Yiwen heard Zhang Fengjai mention saving people's lives, she immediately asked in surprise, and a strange look appeared in her eyes when she looked at him. At the beginning, when Director Yang arranged for her to be the only contact person for Zhang Fengjai's supernatural events, he told her in detail about their meeting and acquaintance. He knew that Lin Qilan, CEO of Qilan Group, was once Zhang Fengjai's fiancée. It was just because of her character of despising the poor and loving the rich that Lin Qilan forced Zhang Fengjai to cancel the engagement by means of humiliation and framing, which caused a break between them. Yes, it's him. Ignoring the strange look in Huang Yiwen's eyes, Zhang Fengjai nodded indifferently and quickly left Wuifeng Manor with the Qingfeng step. Looking at Zhang Fengjai, who disappeared in the night in the blink of an eye, Huang Yiwen shook her head and smiled bitterly, then turned around and walked straight to villa number 13. Xiao Tanya, who also saw Huang Yiwen's strange eyes, had a strong impulse to gossip in her heart, which made her temporarily extinguish the idea of leaving Wuifeng Manor, and quickened her pace to catch up with Huang Yiwen, and began to inquire about the relationship between Zhang Fengjai and Lin Qilan in a roundabout way. In this regard, although Huang Yiwen abided by her duties and did not reveal any secrets, Xiao Tanya knew the whole process of the cancellation of the engagement from the rescued Lin Qilan. Such a powerful and excellent man, not cherishing him and giving up on his own initiative, made Xiao Tanya look at Lin Qilan with an idiotic disdain. In the bedroom of the Shen family villa. After carefully checking Zhao Yuqian's physical condition and finding that the poison of the five-colored dragon snake in her body had completely merged with the zombie energy remaining in her body, Zhang Fengjai knew that she was not only completely out of danger, but also about to usher in the opportunity of transformation. So, he forcibly picked up Zhuang Jian, who had not slept for nearly 2 days and 2 nights, and arranged her on the bed in the guest room, and then used acupuncture to massage her to let her fall into a sweet dream instantly. Then, he returned to the bedroom and sat cross-legged on the carpet, while using his mind to unlock the sealed 7-colored clouds and mist, continued to read the memory of Yin Long, and waited for Zhao Yuqian to wake up and transform. In the depths of the vast sea, there is an isolated island full of vicissitudes of time. On the isolated island, the forest is vast, the monkeys cry, the tigers roar, the wolves roar, and the beasts roar. The isolated island is so large and boundless, and 90% of the island is covered by primeval forests. In the primeval forest, towering ancient trees blocked out the sun, fierce beasts and birds of prey ran and roared, a scene of the wild times. Deep in the isolated island, in the swamp shrouded by white fog, among a pile of spiritual herbs emitting rich spiritual energy, there were 3 giant dragon eggs about 1 meter high and 70 centimeters in diameter. Time was not very long. As the giant dragon egg in the middle position formed a strong suction force out of thin air, it began to forcibly swallow the essence of spiritual energy emitted by the spiritual herbs around it, and cracks gradually appeared on the surface of the giant dragon egg. As the cracks connected together, the giant dragon egg suddenly made several crisp cracking sounds. Snap, snap, snap. Accompanied by the crisp cracking sound, a small yin dragon about 2 meters long crawled out of the giant dragon egg. The little yin dragon grabbed the dragon egg and quickly swallowed the eggshell that hatched it, and the length of its body instantly reached about 5 meters. Then, he stared at the other 2 giant dragon eggs with a cold gaze. Without much hesitation, the little yin dragon opened its bloody mouth and swallowed 2 dragon eggs in succession. Then, his body not only reached 9 meters, but the aura emanating from his body also reached the peak of the 9th level of the Qi condensation stage. But at this moment, a giant yin dragon with a body length of nearly 1,000 meters quickly appeared next to the spiritual grass in the swamp. When the giant yin dragon saw the hatched little yin dragon, its eyes showed an extremely happy and loving look. However, when she noticed the two dragon eggs that disappeared and the little yin dragon's too rapid growth, the joy and kindness in her eyes were instantly replaced by sadness, and then she roared and questioned the little yin dragon angrily. Although the angry roar was in dragon language, Zhang Fenjai, who was reading the memory of the yin dragon, could hear it clearly. Why do you want to devour your two younger brothers? Mother, I want to become the king of the yin dragon clan, and impact the realm of the ancestral dragon, and then slaughter all the giant dragons, true dragons, and dragon gods except the yin dragon and the evil dragon. Although the little yin dragon, whose body is less than 10 meters long, is a world apart from the giant yin dragon, whose body is nearly 1,000 meters long, the little yin dragon raised its head to refute, but it exuded a powerful momentum that made the giant yin dragon retreat one after another. Looking at the little yin dragon like a tyrant, the giant yin dragon's eyes showed a complex look of shock, worry, uneasiness and expectation. Finally, the giant yin dragon spit out a stream of refined yin sha energy to assist the little yin dragon's cultivation to advance to the foundation building stage. After the length of the body exceeded 10 meters, it soared into the air and left the swamp mist. In the following period of time, Xiao Yinlong began his own experience and growth, and in the deepest part of the swamp, he found the evil dragon that was driven out of the tribe because his father was an evil dragon and his mother was a scorpion, which resulted in impure blood. Joined forces with the evil dragon to explore the isolated island, steal Ganoderma lucidum, take away immortal grass, pit fellow tribesmen, kill monsters, recruit younger brothers, and build a dragon fort. After hundreds of years of experience, Xiao Yinlong and Xiao Zilong not only grew into true dragons that transformed into infants and returned to the void, but also became the true kings on the isolated island. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Best Physiognomist. Author, Yanyun Yuqi. Chapter 603. On the Lonely Island. One day, the yin dragon, which had disappeared for hundreds of years, reappeared in the swamp deep in the lonely island. When yin dragon saw the little yin dragon and the little evil dragon, whose body length had exceeded a kilometer and whose cultivation had reached the peak of the state of returning to the infant, yin dragon's eyes showed a relieved smile. Then, yin dragon told the little yin dragon and the little evil dragon in detail. According to the clan rules passed down by the dragon clan for tens of millions of years, all the descendants of the yin dragon and the evil dragon must choose a pure dragon clan to be loyal and serve on the day they reach adulthood or the moment they are promoted to the true dragon. Regardless of age or cultivation, the little yin dragon has reached the time when he must return to Dragon Island and fulfill his slave duties. Of course, this choice is completely passive, and is placed like goods on the Dragon Island square for the true dragons and giant dragons of various systems to choose. If you are lucky enough to be selected by the true dragon and the giant dragon, then you will have the opportunity to stay on the fairyland like Dragon Island and have the hope of impacting the immortal dragon. Otherwise, they will be exiled to the forbidden land of death, guarding the ancestral tomb of the dragon clan forever. And the little yin dragon who showed extraordinary talent is likely to be favored by the giant dragon, or even the dragon clan of the divine dragon level. In this case, it is a very good thing worth celebrating for both the future of the little yin dragon and their family. But after hundreds of years of fighting, the little yin dragon who became the king of the isolated island has long been accustomed to being above all living things, and of course he is unwilling to become a slave of other dragons. So, he rejected the request of Yin Long. In the face of the refusal of the little yin dragon, Yin Long just tried his best to explain the serious consequences of refusing to be loyal to and serve the dragon clan, and then begged the little yin dragon to be patient temporarily and not to seek death, let alone involve the safety of the clan members. In this regard, the unhappy little yin dragon, relying on the strength far superior to Yin Long, joined forces with the little evil dragon to drive Yinlong out of the isolated island. In the next 100 years, Xiao Yinlong and Xiao Zilong relied on their outstanding talents, courage to fight, and the opportunities hidden in the isolated island. Not only did their bodies break through 2,000 meters in length, but they also advanced to the realm of giant dragons with souls leaving their bodies. And on a certain day when they were consolidating their realm, the bodies of Yinlongs with a body length of more than 1,000 meters, 3 bodies close to 1,000 meters, and 7 bodies between 300 and 700 meters fell heavily into the mud in the swamp. Although Xiao Yinlong had never left the isolated island since the day he was born, and had never seen any relatives except his mother, when he saw the 11 Yinlong bodies falling into the mud in the swamp, he knew that they were his biological parents, his uncles, brothers, and sisters of the same clan and lineage. Although he was cold by nature and treated blood ties very coldly, the inseparable family ties between him and his parents made Xiao Yinlong soar into the air in anger. Then, he saw 7 real dragons hovering in the air, with bodies over 1,000 meters long, and colors of purple, white, blue, black, white, gold and red. Why? Looking at the 7 real dragons representing the 7 lines of the dragon clan in the air, the little yin dragon, who had shortened his body to more than 900 meters in advance and suppressed his cultivation to the peak of the golden elixir realm, roared and questioned. Why did you kill my parents? Why did you slaughter my family? Since ancient times, the yin dragon and the evil dragon have been the slaves of the 7 lines of the dragon clan. They must be loyal and serve the entire dragon clan forever. They must not betray, neglect, escape or deceive. Facing the angry roar of the little yin dragon, as the king of the dragon clan, Zilong replied indifferently. If anyone violates the iron law of the dragon clan, his soul will be destroyed and his clan will be executed. Just as Zilong's reply fell, the indifferent Qinglong continued to explain. According to the iron law of the dragon clan, you have entered adulthood 100 years ago and should have fulfilled your responsibilities as a member of the yin dragon clan. However, not only did you fail to comply with the iron law of the clan and return to Dragon Island, but your mother even faked the illusion that you were dead to deceive the elders of the various clans of the dragon clan. Therefore, we, the law enforcers of the 7 clans, will follow the clan rules to kill your parents, your uncles, your aunts, and your brothers and sisters. Just as King Glong's explanation fell, the hot-tempered Ilong shouted and threatened. If you know what's good for you, you will surrender and return to Dragon Island with us to accept the trial of the elders of the clan. Otherwise, this isolated island will be your burial place, and your dragon soul will fall into the abyss of purgatory forever. The explanations of Zilong and Qinglong completely aroused the belief of Xiao Yinlong to betray the entire dragon clan. The harsh shouting and threats of Ilong made Xiao Yinlong really take the first step to avenge his hatred. After using his mind to inform the little evil dragon to block all escape routes on the isolated island, the little yin dragon quickly restored his giant dragon body of more than 2,000 meters and began a frantic killing. Although the 7-line dragon clan had the innate suppression of blood and physique when facing the yin dragon and the evil dragon, the difference in strength between the two sides was as big as heaven and earth, and the 7 true dragons of the 7 lines were eventually easily slaughtered by the little yin dragon. Next, the little yin dragon buried his relatives with his own hands, and then took the corpses of the 7 true dragons and the little evil dragon away from the isolated island and sneaked into the eternal continent where the demon clan lived. Because the little yin dragon knew very well that the moment he killed the 7-line true dragon, he was in a situation of life and death with the entire dragon clan. Although he and Xiao Zilong have both reached the state of soul leaving, the gap in strength compared to the entire dragon clan with giant dragons, dragon gods, and supreme beings is not a little bit, and there is no hope of winning. If you want to truly escape the pursuit of the dragon clan, and want the yin dragon clan and the xie dragon clan to completely get rid of the status of slaves, you can only completely destroy the entire dragon clan. Therefore, Xiao Yinlong planned to escape the racial war between the Dragon Clan and the Demon Clan based on the unharmonious relationship between the Dragon Clan and the Demon Clan, and take the opportunity to kill all the Dragon Clans in the Middle Ages. If there is a chance, he even wants to become the king of all clans and completely change the humble fate of the Yin Dragon Clan and the Xie Dragon Clan. In the next few hundred years, Xiao Yinlong began to hunt down the monsters with noble blood in the monster clan, and the cultivation level was in the Jindan realm and the Fangsu Huaying realm, and deliberately left the blood and limbs of a certain series of real dragons to mislead the strong among the monsters. At the same time, the little evil dragon secretly contacted the underage Yin dragons and evil dragons distributed in the Eternal Continent to form a force to counter-attack Dragon Island in the future. In the end, under the guidance of the little Yin dragons frame-up, many hot-tempered demon clan masters began to secretly assassinate the young dragons, real dragons, and giant dragons of various systems traveling in the Eternal Continent. Because the Dragon Clan is arrogant, they naturally look down on the Demon Clan of the Eternal Continent. Therefore, when facing the secret attack of the Demon Clan, they did not investigate the real reason for the attack, but began to fight back and retaliate with more violent means. In the end, as the strong men of the Demon God and Dragon God realm joined the battle, the racial war between the Demon Clan and the Dragon Clan was completely triggered. The Best Physiognomist. Author, Yan Yun Yuqi. Chapter 604. As the demons and dragons went to war, the little Yin dragon took the opportunity to sneak into the Dragon Island with the little evil dragon. First, he wanted to rescue and seduce the enslaved Yin dragons and evil dragons, let them join the team to resist the Dragon Clan, and increase the power and strength to dominate the Eternal Continent in the future. Second, he wanted to take the opportunity to steal the Dragon Blood Grass, the treasure of the Dragon Clan's forbidden land, and use the energy of nothingness contained in the Dragon Blood Grass to impact the Dragon God realm of refining the soul and returning to the void. Tens of millions of years of enslavement have long filled the hearts of countless Yin dragons and evil dragons with endless resentment and rebellion against the Dragon Clan, which also made it easy for the little Yin dragon to rebel against tens of thousands of adult Yin dragons and evil dragons. Next, with the help of 9 Yin dragons and evil dragons in the giant dragon realm, he successfully broke into the forbidden land of Dragon Island and successfully obtained 3 Dragon Blood Grass, the treasure of the Dragon Clan. Later, he and the little evil dragon, relying on their own profound accumulation, successfully advanced to the realm of soul refining and returning to the void with the help of Dragon Blood Grass, becoming the first Yin dragon and evil dragon to achieve the realm of Dragon God in the Middle Ages. Whether in terms of overall strength or the number of strong men participating in the war, the Demon Clan is far stronger than the Dragon Clan. Therefore, when the war reached the 365th year, the Demon Clan army, which had already gained the upper hand, completely besieged Dragon Island. However, Dragon Island is still the body of the ancient ancestor dragon, and after countless years of tempering and transformation by the Dragon Clan, it has long been promoted to an attack and defense integrated supreme killing weapon. Relying on the strong defense ability of Dragon Island, the Dragon Clan easily resisted the comprehensive attacks of the Demon Clan several times. Relying on the powerful attack ability of Dragon Island, the fierce counterattacks launched by the Dragon Clan several times not only destroyed nearly half of the Demon Clan army, but also caused the fall of 3 Supreme Demon Clan strongmen. Seeing that the Demon Clan's strongmen were planning to evacuate Dragon Island, Xiao Yinlong could only choose to betray the Dragon Clan in advance and open the Dragon Island defense system to guide the Demon Clan's army to attack Dragon Island. Originally, relying on the opportunity of the Demon Clan's crazy slaughter of the Dragon Clan, secretly collecting a large number of Dragon Clan treasures, as well as dragon corpses in the realm of Divine Dragon and Supreme Realm, Xiao Yinlong and Xiao Zilong had the opportunity to impact the refining and unity of the Dragon Clan in the future, achieve the Supreme of the Dragon Clan, and then unify the Dragon Clan. However, several top Supreme strongmen among humans, that is, the eternal and immortal Delugo Jinxian, meddled in stopping the Dragon Monster War. The result: Not only did it destroy the conspiracy he had planned with great difficulty, but it also led to a crazy counterattack by the Dragon Clan, which still retained a certain strength. In the end, the entire Yinlong clan and the evil Dragon Clan were completely exterminated, and he and Xiao Zilong were also killed by the only remaining supreme strong man of the Dragon Clan, leaving only a trace of residual soul. After a cursory reading of Yinlong's magnificent life, Zhang Fengjai slowly opened his eyes revealing shock, admiration, pity, and ecstasy. Shocked that Yinlong and Xia Long had already advanced to the realm of refining spirits and returning to the void, and were dragon gods with immortal lifespans. Admired Yinlong's heaven-defying actions to change his fate of being enslaved. Pity Yinlong's unfair fate and bad luck. Not only did he fail to successfully defy the heavens, but he was left with only a trace of remnant soul, and the last trace of remnant soul also died in his own hands. Ecstatic that Yinlong, who was cautious and cunning, used the special secret method of the Dragon Clan to hide a large number of treasures collected during the war in the place where they fell when several supreme peak powerhouses of mankind came forward to stop the Dragon Monster War. The secret method used by the Dragon God realm can not only resist the erosion of time, but also stabilize the terrain changes within 100 miles of the treasure hiding area. At the same time, as long as the cultivation can be successfully promoted to the Jindan realm, using the Jindan Yuanli to perform the secret method created by Yinlong, the specific location of the treasure can be relocked, and then the countless elixirs and natural treasures stored in the treasure can be obtained. According to the types of treasures collected by Yinlong, there are 3 types of immortal grass, immortal fruit, and immortal pills that can change the physique of mortals and greatly extend their lifespan. If the immortal grass, immortal fruit, and immortal pill in the treasure can be obtained, then Sulitzi, Zhuangjian, Shenloxi and Xiaoyuxuan can enter the path of cultivation, and then rely on the long years of deep cultivation to impact the immortal realm of immortals. In this way, he can stay with his beloved women forever. At the same time, through the rough reading of Yinlong's memory just now, he found that his vision, experience, and state of mind have been greatly improved. At this time, he can completely rely on Xianyu and Dan, Linggao, and Longjing to impact the Sudan realm. At this moment, he forcibly suppressed the urge to break through. Because he suddenly remembered the reason why his third grandfather refused to reveal the Sudan realm, he planned to continue to improve his vision, experience, and state of mind by reading Yinlong's memory in detail, and strive to cross the Sudan realm and directly impact the Jindan stage. Zhang Fengjai, who was completely immersed in his own thoughts, did not notice that just when he had just determined the means to find the treasure left by Yinlong, a thick white cloud appeared out of thin air in the sea of consciousness. Then, the white cloud quickly condensed into a white real dragon about 9 meters long, and then silently tore through the sea of consciousness and headed straight to the east of the Shen family villa. Rat Mountain. If viewed from the outside, the 5th peak of Rat Mountain is only more than 30 meters high and about 70 meters wide. But in the cave that sealed the 5 special beings, the area of the space is simply endless, and there is no end in sight. In the boundless space, there is an island about the size of 3 Ningji cities floating. On the island, there are 5 giant rats about 10,000 meters tall, with hair of different colors. In front of the 5 giant rats, Zhang Jinyu sat cross-legged on a milky white rock. Big brother, 5th brother, it seems that Jinyu is in trouble. Looking at Zhang Jinyu sitting cross-legged on the milky white spirit stone, the terrifying aura emanating from his body became more and more violent, and the giant rat with black hair solemnly reminded the red giant rat and the white giant rat. Although the foundation is solid, the accumulation is insufficient. It will take at least 5 to 10 years to enhance the UN power of the golden elixir before it can be promoted to the realm of infant transformation and return to the void in one fell swoop. The red giant rat nodded and pointed out the reason why Zhang Jinyu was in trouble. 4 brothers, prepare to cut off the induction between Jinyu and the heavenly Dao, and help him completely suppress the breakthrough of the realm. The white giant rat directly ordered to take action without any nonsense. After hearing the order of the white giant rat, The red giant rat, the black giant rat, the gray giant rat and the purple giant rat immediately nodded in agreement and dispersed everywhere, then raised their sharp claws, intending to tear the void above Zhang Jinyu. At the same time, the white giant rat took out a crystal clear jade fan, ready to use the wind to suppress Zhang Jinyu's violent momentum. But at this moment, the space above the cave was suddenly torn apart, and then a 9-meter-long white dragon rushed out from the torn crack. Seeing the 9-meter white dragon rushing towards Zhang Jinyu, the white giant rat immediately stopped the other 4 giant rats from attacking the white dragon, and then explained in detail. 4 brothers, don't do it, this is a lucky dragon, which can help Jinyu successfully advance to the realm of nascent soul return to void. The Best Physiognomist. Author, Yanyun Yuqi. Chapter 605. Inside the sealed cave. After hearing the explanation of the white giant rat, the other 4 giant rats looked at each other, and then the red giant rat, as the eldest, asked with doubts in his eyes. 5th brother, according to the records in ancient books, isn't the luck dragon 5 colors? Brother, the records of the 5-color dragon in ancient books refer to the complete state of luck. Faced with the questioning of the red giant rat, the white giant rat explained in detail. The complete state of luck is composed of fortune, longevity, wealth, luck, and destiny, and each form will present a different color. Among them, fortune is blue, longevity is red, wealth is yellow, luck is white, and destiny is purple. But it is difficult for ordinary creatures to condense a complete state of luck dragon, which is the 5-color dragon you know. 5th brother, Jinyu is a child we watched grow up. Except for a slightly better destiny, his fortune, longevity, wealth, and luck are not as good as ordinary mortals. After hearing the detailed explanation of the red giant rat, the doubts in the eyes of the other 4 giant rats were immediately half eliminated. But the remaining half of the doubts made the red giant rat couldn't help but continue to ask. So, what's the matter with this white luck dragon condensed by luck? 2nd brother, if I'm not wrong, this luck dragon condensed by luck should come from Xiaoye who went out for training. Looking at the white dragon that quickly merged into Zhang Jinyu's body, the white giant rat had a strange guess in his eyes. Because only direct blood relations can get the help of each other's luck. This is impossible. After hearing the white giant rat's guess, the purple giant rat immediately shook his head and refuted. 5th brother, Xiao is also a child we watched grow up. You and I both know that he is limited by the backlash of Jinyu's disclosure of too many secrets when he was young, resulting in his wealth and luck being suppressed by the rules of heaven. Therefore, before Xiao breaks through the realm of infant transformation and return to the void, it is impossible to break the suppression of the rules of heaven, and it is impossible to change his own wealth and luck, let alone gather the luck of the dragon of luck. 4th brother is right. After nodding in agreement with the purple giant rat's rebuttal, the white giant rat looked up to the west of the space with a hint of expectation in his eyes and reminded. But I don't know if the 4 brothers still remember Xiao's fate. After hearing the white giant rat's reminder, the red giant rat, the black giant rat, the gray giant rat and the purple giant rat couldn't help but think back to the fate of Zhang Fengjai when he was just born, when they worked together to perform the secret method of the demon clan to calculate the fate. Without roots or stems, there is no reincarnation. A flower blooms for one lifetime, but it does not enter the 6 realms. Looking at the 4 brothers with thoughtful expressions, the white giant rat said with a complicated expression. The ethereal fate and unpredictable destiny make Xiao's future full of infinite variables. What we think of as bad luck may be good luck for Xiao, and what we think of as disaster may be an opportunity for Xiao. Speaking of this, the white giant rat opened the jade fan in his hand and gently stroked the fan with his claws. Then, the picture of Zhang Fengjai slowly emerged on the crystal clear jade fan. At this time, Zhang Fengjai sat cross-legged on the carpet in the bedroom with his eyes closed and was practicing in seclusion. At this moment, he exuded a strong vicissitudes of life. When the red giant rat felt the breath emanating from Zhang Fengjai, which had a trace of rapid changes in the world, he couldn't help but shout out in shock. This is the breath of countless years. Shua. The white giant rat, who also felt the breath of the passing of time, immediately closed the crystal-clear fan, then stretched out his claws and ejected 9 divine powers, quickly repairing the void torn by the Kiun true dragon. Who? After the void gap in the space was completely restored, the white giant rat, who breathed a sigh of relief, immediately instructed the 4 brothers. 4 brothers, don't think too much, don't ask too much, listen to me carefully. When Janayu successfully advances to the realm of infant return to void with the help of Xiao Yes Kiun true dragon, we will immediately use the secret method of breaking the 5 gods ban, and strive to break the seal in the body and space within 1 to 2 months. After hearing the white giant rat's order, the other 4 giant rats couldn't help but frown. Although the taboo seals from their enemies prevented them from leaving the independent space inside the rat mountain, they could not limit their practice and perception. After tens of thousands of years of cultivation, their cultivation has been infinitely close to the supreme realm, and they have the strength to break the seal of themselves and space. The reason why they did not break the seal and escape was that when Zhang Jinai was born, they used the secret method of the demon clan to calculate Zhang Jinai's fate, and accidentally discovered that the rules of heaven had begun to enter a weak period, and the sealed spiritual energy of heaven and earth was about to revive. According to the records left in the Middle Ages, the rules of heaven will relax their surveillance and suppression of heaven and earth because of the weak period. The environment without the suppression of the rules of heaven is the best time for all creatures to go against the sky, and it is also the best opportunity to break their own shackles. Therefore, they originally planned to wait until the moment when the spiritual energy of heaven and earth revived, and then use the 5 gods of the demon clan to break the seal of themselves and space, and completely escape. However, although he was filled with endless doubts, he thought that the white giant rat not only had the highest talent and potential among the 5 brothers, the strongest cultivation and strength, but also was the most proficient in the calculation of fate. The 4 giant rats could only suppress their doubts, and then silently watched Zhang Jinai, who had calmed down with the help of the Kiun true dragon. In the bedroom of the Shen family villa, Zhang Fenjai, who was rereading Yin Long's more detailed memories to improve his eyesight, experience, and state of mind, was suddenly awakened by a faint breath. He suddenly opened his eyes and looked at the bed. He found that Zhao Yuqian, who had stopped breathing, had a slow rise and fall in her chest. He knew that the moment Zhao Yuqian woke up, her physique and cultivation would undergo a transformation. So, he quickly got up and went to the guest room to wake up Zhuang Jian, who was sleeping soundly. Because the only condition for Zhuang Jian to go to the guest room to rest was that she must witness the awakening and transformation of her best friend Zhao Yuqian with her own eyes. As the frequency of her chest rising and falling became faster and faster, Zhao Yuqian, who had her eyes tightly closed, suddenly opened her eyes, and after sitting cross-legged with her knees bent, a growing momentum rose from her body, and then her cultivation began to break through. The 8th level of Qi condensation stage, the early, middle, high, and peak states. The 9th level of Qi condensation stage, the early, middle, high, and peak states. Boom. Accompanied by the terrifying momentum that increased by more than 10 times, the new power that perfectly integrated the zombie energy and the poison of the 5-colored dragon snake directly broke through the bottleneck and advanced to the foundation building stage. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Best Physiognomist. Author, Yan Yun Yuqi. Chapter 606. In the bedroom of the Shen family villa. Not good. Because the power of Zhao Yuqian's body after the perfect fusion of zombie energy and the 5-colored dragon snake poison was too strong, the momentum formed when she broke through the foundation building realm was as powerful as the peak of the 3rd level of the foundation building period, which had seriously threatened the safety of the Shen family villa. Zhang Fengjai, who secretly said that it was not good, immediately mobilized the gray energy in his dantian and quickly arranged a layer of defense shield on the four sides and top of the bedroom. Fortunately, the gray energy in the dantian used to arrange the defense shield was as powerful as the virtual Dan realm. In the end, the energy defense shield arranged in a hurry still resisted the impact of the powerful momentum on the surrounding walls and roof in time. 3 minutes later, as the powerful momentum of the realm breakthrough began to fall, Zhao Yuqian slowly exhaled the turbid air accumulated in her chest and slowly opened her eyes, revealing an extremely surprised look in her eyes. Although she was in a coma due to the poison of the five-colored dragon snake, she had a very clear feeling of her own changes during the coma. She knew that she could dissolve the damage of the five-colored dragon snake's poison, thanks to the residual zombie energy in her body. At the same time, through the perfect fusion of zombie energy and the five-colored dragon snake's poison, she achieved a significant breakthrough in her own cultivation in a short period of time. The root of all this was that Zhang Fengjai rescued her from Zhao Zulin's hands, and used his special ability to dissolve the damage of the zombie element and intercept the transformation of the zombie energy. So, after forcibly suppressing the joy that emerged in her heart, Zhao Yuqian quickly got up from the bed and walked to Zhang Fengjai, then bowed and thanked him. "Mr. Zhang, I will remember your kindness and virtue in my heart. If I need you to do anything in the future, I will do my best, no matter it is a mountain of swords or a sea of fire. Miss Yuqian, there is no need to be so polite. You and Sister Yan are the best girlfriends. It is natural for me to help you." After motioning Zhao Yuqian to stand up with his right hand, Zhang Fengjai bowed his hands to apologize. "Miss Yuqian, I need to check your body carefully to see if the poison of the five-colored dragon snake has completely disappeared, and the changes after the fusion of the two different energies in your body." "No problem." Nodding without any worries, Zhao Yuqian directly stretched out her white jade-like arm. Stretching out the index and middle fingers of his right hand and placing them on the other person's wrist, Zhang Fengjai carefully checked it using the pulse-taking technique. After nearly a minute of inspection, Zhang Fengjai, with a look of surprise in his eyes, asked solemnly, "Miss Yuqian, do you dare to take risks? Are you afraid of facing death?" Faced with Zhang Fengjai's serious questioning, Zhao Yuqian couldn't help but bow her head and think deeply. The courage of the adventure test, the perseverance of the death test. In the past, the reason why she chose to become the head of the Lanja City Supernatural Research Institute was that she lacked the courage to take risks and was afraid of the confusion after death, in addition to her ordinary talent and qualifications for cultivation. As a supernatural research institute that is above the laws of China, while enjoying the special powers granted by the country, it also bears the responsibility of maintaining the dignity of the country and protecting the safety of the leaders. The Western Church and alien races, the yin-yang masters and ninjas of the island countries, the wizards and evil spirits of several small countries in Southeast Asia, and the sectarian monks and monsters in the country are all enemies that the Supernatural Research Institute needs to fight against at all times. Every year, the number of foundation-building strongmen who die in the hands of different hostile forces in the Supernatural Research Institute is about 10, and the masters of the Qi condensation realm are more than hundreds. Even the top masters of the Void Dan realm are in danger of falling. So, in the test match that determines her future and fate, she took the initiative to give up the competition to continue to stay in the Supernatural Research Institute to practice, and chose to become the person in charge of the city. But now, after the capture and zombie transformation of Lishan Sek's elite disciple Zhao Zulin, and the sneak attack of the five-colored dragon snake, she found that the secular world is no longer as safe as she imagined. Especially with the entry of a large number of sect disciples into the world and the growing strength of the demon race, the situation of the people in charge of the cities assigned by the Supernatural Research Institute has become more and more dangerous. Then, the method of avoiding direct risk and death by means of escape is no longer feasible. So, after careful consideration, Zhao Yuqian looked up and looked directly at Zhang Fengjai, and answered with a firm look in her eyes. "Don't be afraid." "Very good." After nodding with satisfaction and praising, Zhang Fengjai continued to remind solemnly. "Miss Yukian, through my careful examination just now, I found that the zombie energy remaining in your body has the ability to devour different types of poisons and transform into essence of spiritual power. If you dare to take the risk of taking different types of poisons, then the essence of spiritual power transformed by the fusion of zombie energy can allow you to impact the top powerhouse's virtual elixir realm in a short period of time, and even impact the golden elixir realm of the immortal god in the future." Hearing the strange cultivation method given by Zhang Fengjai and the possible achievements in the future, Zhao Yuqian's eyes immediately showed a hint of interest, but Zhuang Jian, as a bystander, could not help but frown and question. "Yezi, is the cultivation method you just mentioned safe? Will it cause fatal harm to Zixi?" "Sister Yan, actually using zombie energy to devour different types of poisons to obtain more essence and spiritual power to improve cultivation and strength is just my guess and speculation. I don't know whether this method is absolutely safe. All this requires Miss Yukian to try and take risks personally." Faced with Zhuang Jian's doubts, Zhang Fengjai shook his head and replied. "So, I just asked Miss Yukian whether she dared to take risks and whether she was not afraid of death." After hearing Zhang Fengjai's reply without any safety assurance and seeing the moving look in Zhao Yuqian's eyes, Zhuang Jian hurried to her side, then held her jade hand tightly and persuaded her. "Zixi, now that you have successfully advanced to the foundation building stage, you can apply to transfer back to the base in Lanja City. There is no need to risk your life to try to swallow poison." Faced with Zhuang Jian's kind persuasion, Zhao Yuqian shook her head and smiled bitterly to remind her. "Sister Yan, you have lived in the base of the institute for many years. You should know the obligations and responsibilities that the base personnel need to bear, and you are more aware of the cold-bloodedness and ruthlessness of the base's senior management. People like us who have no backing or foundation are actually the vanguards and cannon fodder of every mission. Otherwise, you and I would not have given up the test competition on our own initiative." The Best Physiognomist. Author, Yan Yun Yuqi. Chapter 607. In the bedroom of the Shen family villa. This. Faced with the reasons given by Zhao Yuqian, Zhuang Jian suddenly didn't know how to refute. After all, some high-level officials of the Supernatural Research Institute, just because of a little personal grudge with Zhang Fengjai, were able to ignore the lives of nearly 8 million ordinary people and abandon Ningji City, which was enough to prove how cold and ruthless they were, how cruel and ruthless they were. And a master of the foundation building period like Zhao Yuqian, who had no background or backing, could easily become a pawn in the struggle of the high-level officials, and in the end, he might not even know how he died. Ignoring Zhuang Jian's speechlessness, Zhao Yuqian solemnly bowed to Zhang Fengjai and asked. "Mr. Zhang, I am willing to use the method of swallowing different types of poisons to improve my own cultivation and strength. But I don't know which type and level of poison is most suitable to take at the beginning. What should I pay attention to during the swallowing process?" In fact, from the hint of intention in Zhao Yuqian's eyes just now, Zhang Fengjai knew that she had overcome her previous cowardice and fear of death, and would eventually make a risky choice. So, he had already considered the specific way of cultivation for Zhao Yuqian. "No problem, wait a moment." After signaling the other party to wait for a moment, Zhang Fengjai walked to the bedside, and then moved out a box specially used to store treasures from under the bed. After opening the box, he took out a sharp flying knife emitting a gloomy cold light, and then turned back to Zhao Yuqian and said. "Miss Yuqian, this is the hidden weapon flying knife I looted from the Thousand Knife Master Gu Zixuan some time ago. It is coated with the ghost orchid liquid that kills people with blood. Although the toxicity of the ghost orchid liquid is far less than that of the five-colored dragon snake, it is just right for your current stage of cultivation, and you can use the ghost orchid liquid to verify whether the method of using venom to improve your cultivation is correct. After hearing Zhang Fenjai's explanation, Zhao Yuqian looked at the hidden weapon flying knife, with a look of struggle in her eyes. Because the ghost orchid liquid is one of the top 10 poisons in the secular world, it has the power to poison and kill foundation building masters. But the struggling look in her eyes only lasted for less than 3 seconds, and was replaced by a firm look. Afterwards, she reached out to take the flying knife coated with the ghost orchid liquid, and directly cut a hole on her arm. As the black blood with a fishy smell flowed out of the wound, the rapid erosion of the ghost orchid liquid poison on the internal organs and consciousness made Zhao Yuqian feel dizzy. Then, she quickly sat cross-legged, then mobilized the zombie energy in her body to quickly devour and fuse the poison formed by the ghost orchid liquid. Yezi, is Zixi okay? Looking at Zhao Yuxi sitting cross-legged, her ruddy face gradually replaced by black, and her hands on her abdomen clenched tightly, Zhuang Jian couldn't help but ask worriedly. Sister Yan, don't worry, Miss Yuxi is not in any danger now. Facing Zhuang Jian's worry, Zhang Fenjai stretched out his hand to hold her waist and assured her. In fact, at the moment when Zhao Yuxi used the flying knife to cut her arm, he immediately opened the sky eye for a detailed observation. First, it was to avoid life-threatening dangers so that he could help in time. Second, he also wanted to test whether his calculation about using poison to improve his cultivation and strength was correct. With the careful observation of the sky eye, he found that the zombie energy mobilized by Zhao Yuqian was like the greedy snake in the mobile game, which quickly devoured the toxins of the ghost orchid liquid to prevent the venom from further harming the internal organs and consciousness. At the same time, the fusion and transformation of the essence of spiritual power began to rapidly improve her cultivation. Although Zhang Fenjai's tone of assurance seemed very relaxed, Zhao Yuqian's too bad condition did not make Zhuang Jian completely relieved. Fortunately, as Zhao Yuqian's dark face was replaced by rosy again, and she began to exude a strong breath of realm improvement, she finally breathed a sigh of relief. Whew! If the poison of the five-colored dragon snake is equivalent to a lake, then the poison of the ghost orchid liquid is a stream. Compared with the zombie energy, which takes 2 days and 2 nights to completely transform the poison of the five-colored dragon snake, it only takes less than 2 hours to devour and fuse the poison of the ghost orchid liquid. Of course, the amount of spiritual power transformed by the ghost orchid liquid poison is far less effective in improving cultivation and strength than the poison of the five-colored dragon snake. As Zhao Yuqian's momentum of realm improvement began to gradually subside, her cultivation finally stopped at the middle stage of the first level of the foundation building period. Zixi, how do you feel? Seeing Zhao Yuqian slowly opening her eyes, Zhuang Jian immediately broke free from Zhang Fenjai's arm, and then quickly squatted in front of her and asked. Sister Yan, I feel great now. Looking up at Zhuang Jian with a concerned face, Zhao Yuqian answered excitedly. It was different from the process of swallowing and fusing the poison of the five-colored dragon snake in the fainting state. Maintaining an absolutely sober state to mobilize the zombie energy, swallowing the ghost orchid liquid that corroded the internal organs and consciousness, she clearly felt the powerful effect of the essence of spiritual power after fusing with the poison on her own cultivation and strength. It only took less than 2 hours. Not only did the cultivation level smoothly improve by a small stage, but the capacity of the danshan also expanded by nearly 1%. And this effect of improving cultivation and strength is no less than the golden crow pill developed by the top alchemists in the base. However, compared with the Jinwu Dan, which is produced in only a few dozen pills per year and can only be enjoyed by senior officials and elders, there are hundreds of known poisons in the secular world. If we count the poisons controlled by independent cultivators, evil cultivators, poison cultivators, and monsters, the number may reach an astonishing 1,000. More importantly, it is not difficult to obtain these poisons. At this time, she has completely believed in the cultivation method recommended by Zhang Fenjai. At this moment, she is full of confidence in the impact of the top powerhouse's virtual Dan realm. Even for the impact of the Golden Dan Avenue known as the Immortal God, there is a trace of desire and ambition. After hearing Zhao Yuqian's detailed feelings and huge gains from using the ghost orchid liquid to improve her cultivation, Zhuang Jian was also happy for her, and turned to Zhang Fengjai and asked, "Yezi, you are proficient in Chinese medicine and understand the power and characteristics of various types of poisons, so next I will trouble you to formulate detailed poisons and precautions for Zixi to swallow." "No problem. Whether it is from Zhao Yuqian's face or her selfless act of saving others, she is a friend worth making friends with." So, Zhang Fengjai nodded and agreed to Zhuang Jian's instructions without any hesitation. Afterwards, he told Zhao Yuqian to calm down and consolidate the realm after the breakthrough, and then took Zhuang Jian out of the bedroom and came to the study on the first floor. The Best Physiognomist. Author, Yan Yun Yuqi. Chapter 608. In the study room of the Shen family villa. Take paper, grind ink, dip the pen, and polish. Zhang Fengjai handed the carefully written mental method to Zhuang Jian and solemnly exhorted. "Sister Yan, this is a mental method called Zhu Tian Xianling, which was created by the famous Tan Tai Xianxian in the Middle Ages. It is one of the top mental methods in the world. This method can not only greatly increase the probability of becoming an immortal, but also forcibly extract the water spirit in the water to replace the spiritual energy of heaven and earth that is scarce in the secular world. More importantly, the Zhu Tian Xianling mental method has the effect of improving skin and temperament, and has the effect of eternal youth. Improve skin and temperament, and can stay young forever." When hearing Zhang Fengjai's introduction to the Zhu Tian Xianling mental method, Zhuang Jian, who automatically skipped the probability of becoming an immortal and the effect of extracting water spirit, reached out to grab the paper with surprise in her eyes, and then read and understood it carefully. In response, Zhang Fengjai just smiled knowingly and continued to write. In fact, when he roughly reviewed Yin Long's life and found that there were 3 kinds of immortal herbs, immortal fruits, and immortal pills in Yin Long's collection that could change the physique of mortals and greatly extend their lifespan, he had already thought of letting Sulitzi, Shenloxi and Xiao Yuxuan practice at the same time. After all, with the memory of Yin Long's life experience, he had enough confidence to break through, whether it was the Jindan period that extended his lifespan by decades, or the Huaying Fangsu period that had hundreds of years. Only by letting the 4 beloved women practice the top mental methods at the same time can they avoid the separation of yin and yang in the future. Therefore, when reviewing the memory of Yin Long's life, he specifically selected the mental methods that Yin Long was familiar with, and finally selected the Jushan Xianling mental method suitable for Zhuang Jian to practice, and the Tai Su Xianyuan mental method suitable for Sulitzi, Shenloxi and Xiao Yuxuan. The Tai Su Xianyuan mental method was created by King Susuanv, the daughter of the Jade Emperor of the Heavenly Court in ancient times, who was known as the first fairy in the fairy world. In addition to improving skin and temperament and keeping youth forever, Tai Su Xianyuan heart method can also forcibly extract the wood spirit contained in trees, and use wood spirit to replace the spirit of heaven and earth to improve cultivation. However, whether it is the 9 heavens mysterious heart method given to Zhuang Jian, or the Tai Su Xianyuan heart method that is planned to be given to Sulitzi, Shenloxi and Xiao Yuxuan, they are only 1/5 of the overall heart method, and can only be cultivated to the peak of the 9th level of the golden core at most. Deliberately hiding the remaining heart methods is not because he does not trust his beloved woman, but because he is worried that the heaven-defying heart method that can be cultivated to the Daluo-Jinxian realm will attract the peeping of some people, thus bringing danger to his beloved women. When Zhang Fengjai sorted out the information of the 3 Tai Su Xianyuan heart methods, Zhuang Jian happened to finish reading the 9 heavens mysterious heart method recorded on the paper. Although limited by her own talent and qualifications, her current cultivation is only at the early stage of the 7th level of the condensation stage, but by comparing it with the mental method she is practicing now, she can deeply feel the mystery and power of the 9 heavens mysterious spiritual mental method, and firmly believes that the 9 heavens mysterious spiritual mental method has the effect of eternal youth. Therefore, Zhuang Jian, who could not suppress her inner excitement, threw herself directly into Zhang Fenjai's arms, asking with tenderness in her eyes, "Yezi, love me well." Facing Zhuang Jian, who took the initiative to ask, Zhang Fenjai swung a palm wine to close the door, and then gave her the most violent response. After a fierce battle in the study and 3 fierce battles in the guest room, Zhuang Jian, who was completely satisfied with her mind and body, soon fell asleep, while Zhang Fenjai sat cross-legged in front of the windowsill in pajamas, continuing to review Yin Long's life, thereby improving his own experience, vision, and state of mind. As a relatively financially independent high school, Yokai High School, in order to improve the overall software level of the school, that is, the teaching staff that parents attach great importance to, in addition to the salary far exceeding that of similar high schools, has also built 6 very luxurious teacher apartments in the East Campus to satisfy the accommodation of excellent teachers. Among them, apartment number 1 is a 6-story European-style building equipped with an elevator, mainly serving the school leaders. In the east unit of the 5th floor of Unit 1 of apartment number 1, Ding Huiwei, who had just sent Yao Zongan away, took out a piece of tissue to wipe off the few drops of life essence left at the corner of her mouth, and walked into the bathroom to wash the traces of the fierce battle. After turning on the faucet of the bathtub and adjusting the temperature of the water, Ding Huiwei took off her sexy pajamas and walked to the bathroom mirror, and then carefully admired the snow-white and jade-like figure in the mirror. Half a year. Looking at the angel face and devil figure in the mirror, Ding Huiwei said to herself with a trace of unwillingness in her eyes, "At most, I can earn enough money to last a lifetime through the rent of the surrounding shops in the half-year I serve Mr. Yao. When the time comes, I will quietly leave Ningji City, and then go to find a young man under an assumed name to enjoy a life of wealth and glory." After motivating herself, Ding Huiwei took out the comfort tool she had secretly hidden, and then turned around and lay in the bathtub filled with warm water, intending to solve her unmet needs by herself. After all, Yao Zongan is already an old man in his 50s, and his endurance and impact are far from being comparable to those of young men in their 20s and 30s. However, what Ding Huiwei did not notice was that although she had left the bath mirror, the shadow reflected in the mirror not only did not disappear, but slowly walked out of the mirror. Ding Huiwei, who was enjoying the fierce impact brought by the special tool, closed her eyes tightly, and did not see the shadow that came out of the mirror and stood in front of her. The shadow slowly squatted in front of the bathtub, stretched out his white jade-like jade fingers, and pressed directly on Ding Huiwei's forehead. Then, the fingernails flashed a cold light, and then began to scratch down along the position of the eyebrows. Ah! When the sharp nails scratched the skin between the eyebrows and blood flowed out, the severe pain caused by the wound made Ding Huiwei scream and suddenly opened her eyes. Then, her beautiful eyes showed an incredible look. Because the person who scratched her skin with nails looked exactly like her. "Who are you? What do you want to do?" The fear that emerged in her heart made Ding Huiwei question with a trembling voice. "He, I am you, and you are me," the shadow replied with a strange laugh. "What do you mean?" Ding Huiwei, who had no idea what shadow meant by his answer, continued to question him while trying to reach out and knock off the sharp nail that had already scratched her nose. But what frightened her was that a strong suction suddenly formed in the bathtub, making it impossible for her arms to break free from the warm water, and she was unable to attack the nail that had already scratched her lips. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Best Physiognomist. Author, Yan Yun Yuqi. Chapter 609. In the bathroom. The strong binding force formed in the warm water not only made it impossible for Ding Huiwei to prevent further damage to her opponent, but also completely cut off her hope of escaping. At this moment, the endless fear emerging in her heart and the strong desire to live made her unable to help but plead. "Please, please don't kill me." Ignoring Ding Huiwei's pleading, he continued to use sharp nails to scratch the skin of her chin and neck. I have money, I have a lot of money. As long as you are willing to let me live, I am willing to give you all the wealth I have accumulated over the years to ensure that you can enjoy a lifetime of prosperity and wealth. Since her pleading didn't work, Ding Huiwei, who forced herself to calm down temporarily, immediately thought of a way to exchange money for her life. But unfortunately, he still ignored the temptation of money and continued to use sharp nails to scratch the skin on her chest. What do you want to let me live? Seeing that her pleading and the temptation of money could not move the other party, Ding Huiwei, who was completely panicked, couldn't help but ask loudly. Don't worry, I won't take your life, I just need the skin on your body, he replied with a look of longing in his eyes as his sharp nails had scratched the skin of his abdomen. You are a Rakshasa ghost. Shadow's slightly excited answer and the longing in his eyes suddenly reminded Ding Huiwei of a movie he had watched some time ago. That movie is called Painted Skin. The Rakshasa ghost in the movie uses human skin to transform into a beautiful woman, and then seduces some handsome scholars to collect yang energy through infatuation. Shut up. After hearing Ding Huiwei's guess, the shadow whose peerless beauty was instantly replaced by ferocious ugliness shouted harshly. I am still an immortal god. That ugly and dirty guy is not even qualified to carry my shoes. Black body, red hair, green eyes, fangs. Seeing the monster that suddenly showed a ferocious and terrifying appearance, Ding Huiwei, who could not bear the shock of fear, fainted as her vision went dark. The monster, who didn't care at all, continued to use its sharp nails to scratch the skin of her limbs, and then carefully peeled off the entire human skin. Immediately afterwards, the monster put the peeled human skin on himself like clothes, then stood up and walked to the front of the bathroom mirror. Looking at the angel's face and devil's figure reflected in the mirror, replacing Ding Huiwei's monster, a smile of joy and satisfaction appeared on his face. Then, she turned to look at the bloody Ding Huiwei, with a cruel chill in her eyes. In the guest room of the Shen family villa, Zhang Fengjai slowly opened his eyes. After a frightening light flashed in his eyes, a satisfied smile appeared on his face. Due to time constraints, although he only reviewed Yin Long's life experience of less than 100 years, his improvement in experience, vision, and state of mind made him more familiar with the use of gray energy in Danshan, and he had a deeper understanding of different martial arts. The perception of realm is more precise. At this time, he can not only directly attack the void pill stage, but also have a certain degree of certainty to break through to the early stage of the third level of the void pill stage. At this moment, even if he does not choose to break through the void core stage, he can still exert his strength at the early stage of the first level of the void core stage, which is enough to easily deal with the core disciples of the sect who have gone down the mountain to experience. Call. After slowly exhaling the turbid air accumulated in his chest, Zhang Fengjai stood up and left the guest room, and then ordered Su Shiqiang to arrange a vehicle to take him to Wuifeng Manor. Because he promised Yang Guo's Hung on the phone last night that he would use supernatural means on the canal tributary east of Wuifeng Manor that would shock the entire Ningji city, so as to resolve the anger of the family members of the powerful. At this time, there were only 15 minutes left before the time agreed upon to use supernatural means. At this moment, the family and friends of the deceased dignitaries, as well as many bigwigs in the political and business circles, may have arrived at Wuifeng Manor. Thanks to the superb driving skills of the driver arranged by Su Shiqiang, it only took 10 minutes to successfully reach the tributary of the canal. After asking the driver to stay in the car and wait, Zhang Fengjai came to the Ruyi Bridge across the tributary of the canal. Looking at the slowly flowing clear river water, and recalling the scene where he used a spell to condense two dragons playing with pearls in order to save Zhao Yuqian who committed suicide by jumping into the river some time ago, he gradually formed a picture in his mind of the supernatural means he planned to use next. The man who took out his cell phone looked at the time and found that there were still 4 minutes left before the agreed time. He closed his eyes and secretly adjusted his breathing while waiting for the opportunity to take action. Inside Wufen Manor. At this time, the families and relatives of the powerful people who had come overnight, as well as some big shots from the political and business circles, all gathered in front of the ruins of the dragon statue. At this moment, Director Wang, Yang Guozheng and other leaders of the Municipal Bureau are undergoing angry questioning and criticism from the family members and relatives of powerful people. Director Wang, the reason why my old Li chose Wufen Manor as a place for retirement and leisure is mainly because of the good public security in Ningji City. A lady in her 40s with noble temperament and luxurious clothes pointed at Director Wang and asked with a stern expression. Now, my old Li's death is unclear. As the director of the Ningji City Public Security Bureau, do you need to give me and our family members a satisfactory explanation? Mrs. Li is right. We must give us a satisfactory explanation. Otherwise, the political and business circles of Ningji City will never have peace. An old lady in her 60s quickly agreed. Mrs. Li, I am deeply saddened and regretful about the murder of Chairman Li. I promise to increase the intensity of investigation and patrol in the future to ensure that the public security of Ningji City will be improved. Facing the stern questioning of the noble lady and the threat of the old lady, Director Wang made a brief eye contact with Yang Guozheng and retorted with a sad look. But this sudden incident is a supernatural phenomenon. The murderer who killed Chairman Li is non-human. It is far beyond the scope of our Public Security Bureau, so we cannot give you a satisfactory answer and explanation. Director Wang, you are not only the director of the Public Security Bureau, but also a party member with firm scientific beliefs. How can you believe in feudal superstitions of demons and monsters? The noble lady called Mrs. Li pointed out and criticized with a rather unhappy look. That's right. At this moment, a middle-aged man who was obviously a senior official nodded in agreement, and then made a serious suggestion to another middle-aged man who was slightly thin but had a sharp temperament. Secretary Sun, based on what Director Wang said just now, I think your municipal party committee should reconsider the leadership team of the Municipal Public Security Bureau. The Best Physiognomist. Author, Yan Yun Yuqi. Chapter 610. In Wufen Manor. After hearing the proposal from the provincial official, Director Wang, and several leaders of the Municipal Bureau could not help but change their faces. Because they knew very well the great power of the provincial official, and they knew what kind of choice Secretary Sun, who was decisive in killing, would make when his career was threatened. As expected, after hearing the proposal of the provincial official, Secretary Sun nodded and promised. Director Zhao, please rest assured that I will hold an enlarged meeting of the Municipal Party Committee Standing Committee in the afternoon to discuss in detail the political and ideological errors of some leaders of the Municipal Public Security Bureau. Not bad. After hearing Secretary Sun's promise, Director Zhao nodded with satisfaction. Whether it was the threat of Mrs. Li, the family of the powerful, or the proposal of Director Zhao of the provincial capital, Yang Guozheng did not pay too much attention or worry too much, but just took out his mobile phone from time to time to check the time. Because he knew very well that in the face of the threats from the leaders of the Municipal Party Committee and the municipal government, and the doubts of the families of the powerful, any verbal explanation would be futile, and only let them witness the supernatural phenomena created by Zhang Fengjai with their own eyes. Then, all doubts will be broken, and all threats will vanish. Just when Director Wang and others were bearing the doubts and threats from the provincial and municipal leaders, and when Yang Guozheng was silently waiting for a miracle to happen, a deafening dragon roar suddenly sounded from the east of Wufen Manor. Accompanied by the deafening dragon roar, everyone at the scene immediately looked up. Then, everyone's eyes showed an incredible look. Because on the canal tributary more than a mile away from Wufen Manor, a dragon with a body length of more than 100 meters, a majestic demeanor, and a milky white body flew into the air. Dragon, this is a dragon. Mrs. Li, who had just questioned Director Wang, knelt down excitedly when she saw the white dragon hovering above the canal tributary, and her voice was trembling so much that she couldn't even speak clearly. At the same time, the families and relatives of other dignitaries, as well as several leaders in the provincial capital, also knelt down excitedly. Secretary Sun and more than a dozen leaders of the municipal party committee and municipal government secretly breathed a sigh of relief after looking at Yang Guo's Hung, who was smiling. Unlike the leaders and the families of the dignitaries in the provincial capital, the more than a dozen municipal leaders in Ningji city had already witnessed the giant dragon transformed by the pseudo-dragon vein consciousness. Therefore, they have always believed that the death of the dignitaries in Wuifeng Manor was related to supernatural creatures. The reason why they obeyed the threats of the provincial leaders just now was mainly to temporarily calm the anger of the families of the dignitaries, and then find a way to prove the innocence of the Municipal Public Security Bureau. Looking at the white dragon that was finally condensed using the dragon transformation technique obtained from Yin Long's memory, Zhang Fenjai's eyes flashed with satisfaction. Unlike the white dragon condensed by talismans and spiritual power, the white dragon condensed by the dragon transformation technique not only has the strength of the 9th level of the foundation building period, but also has a certain degree of intelligence and can fight the enemy alone. Signaling the white dragon hovering in the air to land on the river, Zhang Fenjai ignored the hundreds of spectators on the bridge, directly mobilized the gray energy in his dantian and jumped off the bridge, then landed steadily on the dragon's head. "Keep going up," Zhang Fenjai ordered calmly while stepping on the dragon's head. When the white dragon reached a height of 360 meters, Zhang Fenjai turned his head and looked at Wuifeng Manor. He found that in front of the ruins of the dragon statue, in addition to a dozen leaders of the Municipal Public Security Bureau, there were nearly 100 men and women with luxurious clothes and extraordinary temperament. He immediately knew that those people were the families and relatives of the dead dignitaries. "Go and say hello to those people." Thinking of the agreement with Yang Guo's Hung, Zhang Fenjai patted the dragon's head, and then pointed to Wuifeng Manor a mile away and ordered. After hearing Zhang Fenjai's order, the white dragon immediately swung its tail and flew towards Wuifeng Manor. After reaching the sky above Wuifeng Manor, the white dragon opened its bloody mouth and roared at everyone in the manor. 100 meters high, the temperament of the peak of the 9th level of the foundation building period, and the roar that resounded through the sky. Except for Yang Guo's Hung, who had been strengthened by the evil spirit and the righteous spirit, who could barely stand, all the others fell to the ground. Everyone, the young man who stepped on the white dragon is still a legendary Taoist, with the ability to fly in the clouds and overturn the sea. It was this young man who discovered the abnormality of Wuifeng Manor and fought back the murderer who hurt your relatives. After a brief exchange of glances, Zhang Fenjai signaled the white dragon to stop roaring and rise to a certain height. Without having to continue to bear the pressure brought by the dragon, Yang Guo's Hung introduced Zhang Fenjai's origin and ability in detail, as well as his relationship with the death of the powerful. Not good. Originally, according to the agreement with Yang Guo's Hung last night, Zhang Fenjai was about to introduce the reasons for the deaths of those dignitaries and the information of the murderer, when he suddenly felt that the 4 talismans he left at Yukai school were activated, and he immediately said inwardly that it was not good. Then, he looked down at the southwest direction and found that the entire Yukai school was shrouded by extremely strong yin, evil, and blood. At this time, it was noon, which was still the time when the yang energy was the strongest, and it was also the time when the yin and evil things were the weakest. At this moment, they took the risk of invading the campus, either because there were treasures they longed for in the campus, or because there were powerful monsters to drive them away. But no matter what the reason is, judging from the concentration of yin energy, evil spirit, and blood energy above the school, the defensive measures left by him at the beginning may not last long. Director Yang, Yukai school is being invaded by a large number of demons and ghosts. All teachers and students in the school are in danger. You should immediately arrange police officers to block all sides of the campus and do not let anyone enter the campus. Considering that it is 12 o'clock noon, it is the school's lunch break time, and some teachers, students, and staff will go home to rest. In order to prevent those teachers, students, and staff who have left the school from returning to the school without knowing it, Zhang Fengjai gave a serious order to Yang Guozheng before rushing to the school. Guarantee to complete the task. Having long known from Huang Yiwen and Xiaolin the crisis that Yuki school might encounter. So, facing Zhang Fengjai's order, Yang Guozheng did not ask too many questions, but immediately saluted and promised. Let's go. Gently patting the dragon's horn, Zhang Fengjai pointed in the direction of Yuki school and ordered. Ah! After a deafening roar towards the sky, the giant dragon turned into a white gust of wind and rushed towards Yuki school.